Ethiopia, the second most populous nation in Africa and one of the fastest growing economies in the region. Yet it remains one of the poorest nations in the continent. The government of Ethiopia set out to change that by expanding infrastructure to transform the country into a manufacturing hub, to create more jobs, raise incomes, and encourage investment. But economic growth on its own is not enough to reduce poverty. The market systems around them must be built in a way that they enable poor people to find their way out of poverty. Introducing Enterprise Partners, a market system development program funded by the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office that works with the Ethiopian government to enable inclusive economic growth. The M4P approach creates lasting gains for the poor by developing viable, responsible, and scalable strategies that lead to sustainable, accessible, inclusive, and better performing business environments.
The market systems approach is absolutely right for Ethiopia because it's about creating sustainable growth and sustainable jobs. And specifically what we look at is the whole system of the businesses that create the jobs, the customers, the suppliers that buy to the businesses, the government that makes rules and regulations, the banks that finance. It looks at the bigger picture.
Enterprise Partners works across entire value chains and market systems to stimulate investment, encourage firms to innovate, reduce costs, provide better quality jobs, goods, and basic services to more people.
What I would say the main achievement of EP as being the first and the biggest market systems approach in Ethiopia was bringing a new paradigm in thinking amongst development practitioners, government officials, and the private sector. We have actually created a very good understanding of Ethiopia's current status compared to its ambition, where we want to become a middle-income country in 2025 and a major manufacturing hub in Africa.
Our flagship public-private partnership initiative of creating a viable market-driven labor system that screens, grades, sources, and trains industrial workers is now being implemented at a national level.
The hipster intervention was one of 5 interventions that EP implemented in the Awasa Industrial Park to create a conducive labor service market to attract, train, and retain workers inside the industrial park.
In order to address the severe constraints and challenges faced by the Ethiopian leather industry, we created an evidence-based roadmap and facilitated its implementation in partnership with the government. The critical transformations that were implemented give much-needed boost to the leather industry, enabling it to upgrade its value chain, meet international standards, and become relevant in the global export market. Finally, a robust market system for the poor requires their inclusion into formal financial systems. To do that, we addressed underlying issues in the regulatory environment and provided technical assistance to banks and institutions to meet requirements that enable them to access credit lines of more than $300 million for lending to small and medium enterprises provided by the World Bank.
This program is very particularly important for the UK government in general because that shows a sort of a partnership with the governments of Ethiopia. One thing that is important when the UK government has put forward this initiative was to really help and enable private sector development in general.
Our success is not just our success, but a collective victory for all our partners. And we hope this success turns into a model for change across all of Ethiopia.